This is the American bullfrog, and they are super invasive anywhere west of the Mississippi. This one has really meaty thighs, which would be great if you eat frog legs. And they also have huge mouths, which is a problem because they can eat anything that they fit in there. This cute little guy is a Merriam's kangaroo rat, and we came across a lot of these while road riding and looking for snakes the other night. They're a very common species in the Sonoran Desert, and as you can see, they have a really long tail, which is sometimes more than twice the size of their body, and they hop along on their strong little legs, as you just saw. They're actually pretty docile, which is why he let me get so close to film him for this, and this gorgeous fish is the round-tailed chub, or Gila robusta. It is the second largest minnow in Arizona. The first is the Colorado pike minnow, and they're in the family Cyprinidae. It's a piscivorous fish, which means it eats other fish species, and you can kind of see its large mouth, which is an indicator. You can also see its very small scales. They're very fine. And this is my favorite fish. Here again, we have another round-tailed chub, or chubbers, as I like to call them. Right now, I'm spotlighting it with a flashlight, and that's what's keeping it in place. It doesn't see me as a threat, so it's just staying there and hanging out. This is one of the coolest lizards in Arizona. It's the Madrian alligator lizard, and it's in the skink family. He started climbing up my arm, and I was like, yeah, we can be friends. I saw him swimming across the creek, and you can bet your bottom dollar I jumped in to get him. Alright, TikTok fans, I need to retcon this. I had previously posted this video calling this an Inca dove, but it is actually a juvenile mourning dove. Juvenile birds can be so confusing. You can see that its beak looks pretty big for its body size, which is indicative of a juvenile. At least I didn't get the poop wrong. This bad boy right here is called a hellgrammite, and just wait for it. Bam! Look at the pincers on that thing. Woo! So this is an insect in the order Megaloptera, and they're more specifically in the family Corydalidae. Megaloptera has over 300 species of insects. This is the aquatic larval stage of this particular species, but as you can see, it can still locomote on the ground. Check and see what it turns into. Bam! Freaking Dobson fly. Look what it retains. It retains the pincers, and it gets wings. What? Alright, so what we're doing here is pulling a seine net through the water to try and catch some fish. That's me right there, and that's my intern, Vinny. This is a very common method of sampling for fish of all different shapes and sizes in rivers, lakes, ponds, etc. We're specifically looking for spiked ace and loach minnow. Once we catch them, we put them in these insulated buckets and carry them to a new home. That's my girl Betsy, by the way. The reason we're doing this is because these are endangered fish species and they need help. We decided to move some of the fish to this structure, which has a big old pool. If anybody's trying to guess what this is, if you guessed beaver dam, ding ding ding, you're right. Beavers build these dams that create these big pools, which often provide nursery habitat for fish to spawn, but also just habitat in general. We were able to catch a glimpse of nature's architect, and I have a love-hate relationship with these guys. Beavers, you know, pretty polarizing. Anyway, some of the other fish we were translocating were the round-tailed chub, which I featured in a previous video. We're hoping they can live long, happy lives in this beaver dam. Thanks, beavers. Okay, so apologies for the video being sideways and the water making it all trippy and whatever, but this was some solid video. These are Apache trout, Arizona's state fish, with a little bit of genetic mishaps in there. I love these underwater recordings because you can see them not in our hands and actually acting naturally how they would. Whoo boy, can you see those white fin tips? They are just striking. I love them. This little aquatic insect is in the family Belostomatidae, or the giant water bug family, and colloquially, they are called toe biters. Not a good start. Ugh, you guys have no idea what I went through picking this up for you just to show you this. Ugh. FYI, those are eggs on its back. This is the male, and the female lays the eggs on top of the male's back, and then he carries them around and has great parental care. This greenage right here is poison ivy, or Toxicodendron radicans. Something to remember it by is the common phrase, leaves of three, let it be, or the trifoliate leaf pattern. You can also see that some of the young leaves are dark and waxy. They kind of lose that as they get older, but not by much. Not everyone has an allergic reaction to this, but it's always better to play it safe. This big guy is a Gila monster, and they are one of the coolest lizards in Arizona. They're also pretty cryptic. They're in the family Helodermatidae, which means warty skin, referring to the bumps on their skin. They're also venomous, so keep a respectful distance if you come across one of these guys. Okay, so this is a break from my regularly scheduled programming, but just gotta say, I work for the Arizona Game and Fish Department, and they decided to acknowledge Pride Month finally, which I'm very happy about. All the federal partners have been acknowledging it all month. But they posted this today. You can see there's a rainbow, but they chose the most phallic. They couldn't have chosen a better plant post. I know it's the state flower of Arizona and Soras are awesome, but man oh man, this is just too perfect for the gays. Alright folks, I just wanted to start off by showing you the Sibley Field Guide with the 2 entries of turkey vulture and black vulture, the 2 vultures we have in the state. And these are black vultures that we saw in the Salt River. Excuse Roy, he's trying to scare the birds away, succeeding. One of the differences between the 2 species is that black vultures will retain their dark grayish head into adulthood. Black vultures will also just have the white wing tips, like fingertips. Also, these guys just eat carrion, so you don't have to worry about them attacking you or anything. Okay, did you guys know that in Arizona we have freshwater jellyfish? Because I just found out last year. This is a type of hydromedusaean jellyfish, which differ from jellyfish that you're probably familiar with. It's actually an invasive species that came from the Yangtze River Basin in China, and it is widely distributed across the world. These guys can sting, but they reserve that for their prey, and it doesn't harm humans. Let me know how big you think this thing is in the comments. These cutie pies are canyon tree frogs, or Hyla arenicolor. It's a native tree frog to the southwestern United States. The color patterns on these guys are very diverse, and they have a great camouflage, especially this guy on that rock. They're hard to see. But one of the coolest features of these guys are their toe pads, which are like little suction cups that allow them to stick to virtually any surface. Okay, you're probably thinking, what the heck am I looking at? These are actually pretty common, but are often overlooked in the streams. This is a caddisfly larva. They're in the order Trichoptera, and they're pretty freaking cool. They have 4 stages in their life cycle: egg, larva, pupa, and adult. They also use silk to create these protective casings around themselves, which is so awesome. They use whatever is around them in the environment, and it provides camouflage as well. Found this dead canyon tree frog, which is really sad, but really cool. Actually, there are a bunch of caddisfly larvae in their cases eating it. They're just attached to it, and I guess they're chomping away. And there's a lot of variety too. Pretty sweet. Stinky. Stinky flies are just banging on my knee. Look at them. Can't tell if it's focusing or not. Gosh, get off.